Hello, and once again, we're back to Filter Optional.
Yes, and we're really, really live right now.
We are live.
Because normally we come at you at 10, but we did a recording that will air next Monday, but...
yeah, and we missed last Monday.
Because we were on vacation.
Where were we on vacation?
We were in California.
And our producer, Kevin, was as well.
Yes,
we were all in California.
We were all in California. And so
Kevin tried to put an episode out, but it was having streaming issues.
Yes. Which I was worried about having today because we're live, but everything seems to be running smooth. So if anyone's seeing any issues on the Facebook end, please let us know.
Yes, because we will see comments if you get on this episode. But you might hear a repeat because this morning we did we did an on location interview with Lewis Harrell, who runs Men of Nehemiah. It's a great ministry, 12-step Christ Center down in South Dallas in the hood. And Lewis is a good brother and friend.
It's great. But we talked about being in the earthquake. We were in an earthquake last week too.
Two earthquakes.
We
really felt
and you
it.
guys really felt it?
I really felt the first one and the second one. But the first one lasted about 10 or 15 seconds, and it was kind of, I was in a hotel room, and so I was laying on the bed, and it felt like 1,000 people were jumping up and down on the floor above me because the whole building was shaking. And so then I figured out what was going on. I put my foot down on the floor to stand up, and I felt like I was going to throw up. It threw my entire equilibrium off. It was bizarre.
And then Friday night with the big one, Travis and I were coming back from picking up pizza. We walk into the house and you go, there's an earthquake, and you could feel it. I mean, it was wild. I got a little video. We were 120, 130 miles away from the epicenter.
Of the chandelier shaking, but the doors were shaking, the windows were shaking because we were in a house Friday night, and I was sitting on the couch and I knew what it felt like, and I was like, here we go again. And Travis was just standing right in the doorway where I don't think you're supposed to be standing, but
it was
anyway, we didn't know.
Was little you felt like you had vertigo. If anybody has vertigo, I know what it feels like.
Yes, and our kids were ragging on you because you kept saying for hours later, oh God, well, that's another, I think there's another one. I think that's an aftershock. Y'all feel it? And we were all like,
phantom quakes for the next couple days.
Yes. No. There are actual quakes. I'm greatly
out of
sensitive.
4 of us, only one.
Yes.
1 in 4 felt the aftershock.
I know what it.
He's like, no, wait. Here it goes again.
I just now realized my microphone was backwards, by the way. So if you guys couldn't hear me before,
now we can hear you.
That would be why.
Oh,
yes.
I could hear you. Well, I can hear you.
Do we have any people following us right now? Now that we've gone live.
Carla Becker's watching. Hey, Carla. She's our #1 fan.
She is. I love Carla.
6 viewers, so people know we're out there.
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, throw them out to us. But let me start with today's topic.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
It is.
I have a lot of arsenal in my. Is that a word?
Yeah, that's a word. Arsenal. Yeah.
In my.
But
bag.
I shared this with you a few weeks ago. I really want to talk about. It's a couple things. Healthy confrontation.
Okay, because a lot of times we talk about healthy and unhealthy instead of
good or bad,
good or bad, or right or wrong.
Yes.
And instead of saying right or wrong or good or bad, it's healthy or unhealthy. So this is healthy confrontation.
Yeah, but before we even get started with healthy confrontation, what words, before you being married to me and me talking about this, what words come to mind? Adjectives come to mind for you. Kevin, you can chime in too. When you think of the word confrontation, like what would be some adjectives?
When I think of confrontation?
Yes.
Anxiety.
Awkwardness.
Yes. Awkwardness.
Yes. Stress. Conflict.
Conflict, yes. A lot of those things. Some people think of anger. Some people think of hostility when there's confrontation. A lot of people think of, there's a lot of negative.
I think of passive aggression too.
Passive aggressive, yes. And that, I don't know, that's real unhealthy confrontation.
Yes.
That's confrontation we're not talking about.
Right.
Today.
Gaslighting.
Gaslighting is a good confrontation, because it becomes
That's not a good confrontation.
No,
word. It's a good unhealthy confrontation.
yes,
word. Yeah.
it's a good unhealthy confrontation
Yeah.
word, but it's also good in the sense of what not to do.
Right.
You know, what the deal is, the reason I was thinking about confrontation is, man, the more time I spend with people, the more time I get to know people, the more time, you know, my peers, a lot of people, you know, I believe healthy confrontation is speaking the truth in love. You know, that's a hard concept to really wrap. I heard the sigh.
Yes.
You know,
You know why the sigh?
why? Because you know I love saying that.
He just loves saying it. So, it's putting it into practice. But, but it's different also when you get paid to confront people like you do. You get paid to confront people. So speaking the truth in love is definitely an awesome mantra for you in your professional life. It doesn't always spill over into your social life. Like, I don't want you healthily confronting, speaking the truth in love always to like my friends or something.
No, I'm not, and sometimes, many times, it hadn't been healthy on my part, so I wouldn't say.
But you've framed it up that it's healthy. You're
Yeah,
like,
but
Shannon,
that's-
you
yeah.
need to confront. I mean, whatever. But so that's why it's good to talk about how to confront in a healthy manner.
Yeah, and so my deal with healthy confrontation, I think it's rooted in 3 C's, which will ultimately yield the truth. You know, and if I had a dry erase board back here, I would write the
Yes.
3 C's down.
Yes.
You know, and the 3 C's are: a healthy confrontation is rooted in care, concern, and lots of curiosity.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
And so
I got that.
the more we can get curious, and so it's not aggressive, it's not anxiety ridden.
Right.
But
Because I do find, like, as a parent, a lot of times with confrontation amongst moms having to deal with their kids, you can tell when it's not out of care and concern. It's more out of, I want to be right and I want your kid to go to jail. I mean, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I want your kid to go down in flames. You can tell when it's care and concern, and that's a healthy way to confront.
yeah, and I'll give you an example. Yesterday I went by Chad's house, and he had, you know, his youngest son Dane and all his friends over there, and he was cooking burgers for him, and he said you can invite friends, and there's that whole little posse of 11-year-olds over
Right,
there.
right.
I want to use this example that Chad did a good, healthy confrontation. He goes, "Hey Dane, who's gonna clean up after all the burgers and stuff?"
Right.
You know, he asked a curious question. He posed that, and Dane goes, "I will."
Okay.
You know, he didn't make a statement, "Dane, you're going to clean this up."
Right.
He invited Dane in
Yeah.
to the conversation.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
the deal is, where I believe is, a lot of people avoid inviting people in. How come? Because of anxiety. How come? Because you believe it's going to get thrown back on you.
Yeah. Well, I think there's control too.
Oh, I agree.
And so you have to learn how to let people fail and not control situations.
Oh, for sure. You have to learn how to let people fail and not control situations.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to get on the Facebook page to see who's on it right now and watching our videos.
Oh, Maury Tardy's on.
Yeah.
Maury was my counselor at camp years ago.
Yeah.
But now friends with the Beckwiths, and so kind of like family. So okay, can I give my example of healthy confrontation?
Yes, you can give your example.
Do you know which example I'm going to give?
I have no idea. The
The
deal is
airport-
right here. I have a ring. It is not, for all you men, it is not a mind reading device.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
the old cartoon Wonder Twin powers.
I'm going to give the
activate.
airport example.
Oh, the airport example.
Just recently.
And I took ownership.
You did. Okay, but see, here's what I'm going to say. I think that I think the world is missing some personal responsibility these days, not taking personal responsibility for any of their actions, and therefore it causes conflict. Okay. And so I've had to learn to pause and reflect and think about my decisions. For example, so we were in California for our family vacation, and we had to be back at Casa Colina. Did their alumni celebration on Saturday night.
And it was incredible.
It was awesome.
I mean,
but
Sean,
we were coming
Scott,
in hot. We were coming in
yeah,
hot. Okay.
We were coming in hot. Sean and Scott did a great job putting together the fireworks, the food.
Yes.
John shared his story. Incredible.
And Chico and I don't always travel perfectly together. It causes I get a lot of travel anxiety because of my condition, my disease, and my autoimmune disease and things like that. I get a lot of travel anxiety that he can't possibly understand. But so 2 days before we left, he said, "Here's the plan. We are going to land at Love Field," which for those of you that are not in Dallas, it's pretty close to our close-ish to our house.
A lot closer than DFW.
Than the international airport. Okay, so DFW. So he said, we're going to land at Love Field. I'm going to jump off the plane. I'm taking nothing with him.
My backpack,
His backpack.
like Dora the Explorer.
I mean, Kevin. His backpack. He's taking his backpack, and we have 7 bags, including golf clubs. He's going to take his backpack, and he's going to run, and he's going to get in an Uber, and he's going to take the Uber to our house, and he's going to get in our car, and he's going to bring the car back to the airport to pick us up. So we have to get all the bags.
And Kevin's shaking his head. Sounds like a good plan.
Well, I mean, I'm just curious. If you have 7 bags, I don't even know if you can get an Uber that'll fit all that.
Yes.
Well,
thank you very much, Kevin. That
okay.
was my thought as well.
So this is 2 days before the plan, whereas by the time the day of the plan, Travis had already gotten a ride from the airport. A girl was picking him up. Okay, so he had a ride, and his bags had a ride, and then we could get an Uber XL. Okay, well, anyway, let me get back to the story. So 2 days before we go, Chico's like, this is what we're doing. And my immediate reaction was, that's a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea. It's a terrible plan. But I made a split-second decision at that time to not confront it in a passive-aggressive way, like I could, just say, okay, we'll try that plan.
You are good at that.
Yeah, we'll try that plan. We'll see how that works. And I decided not to confront it in an angry way by saying that plan is horrible. It is not going to work. I decided in that split second that I was going to just say, okay, that's going to be the plan. And I was going to let go of control of, I really did. I released it because I wanted to enjoy the trip. And then when we get off the plane, Travis was like, Mom, why is this the plan? Why are we doing this? And I said, because it was either that or it was a gigantic fight on our vacation with your dad where we weren't speaking for the last 2 days of the trip. And then I think because I didn't rub it in your face, you did text me like 3 times. I could read it saying, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong.
I take ownership.
Well, no, you didn't say I take ownership.
Okay.
So you didn't go with that plan?
No, we did. But
Did it work?
No.
No.
She texted me before we crossed Central Expressway. They had the bags and were in the Uber.
But the fact
So
remained that Beck and I had to get all the bags. I had to carry his golf clubs all through. And Travis was like, why didn't he ship his sticks? Because you can ship your sticks.
Sticks.
And I was like, it was going to cost too much money. And he was like, okay, so it's not big by getting multiple Ubers. And I said,
Okay.
I said, I can't talk about it anymore. Okay.
Yeah, but that's a good example of healthy confrontation.
Yes.
My deal is, I don't even know, because the word confrontation, you and Kevin both brought up a lot of adjectives that aren't positive adjectives.
Right.
And so it's like, I don't even know if I want to call it confrontation, but it's like, how do you address issues that you see in others, in yourself, in a healthy way, without creating the anxiety, without creating the animosity, without creating, it's a hard, deal to do. Yes, people pay me, to confront.
Yeah.
If I don't tell them the truth, it's like, why are they even paying me?
Well, right. But can't we learn like I have learned the tools of not trying to be right and letting go of the control even though I have extreme travel anxiety. I mean, you've got to have those tools where you pause and figure out how to word it. I mean, we have another example from brother-in-law, from your brother.
I mean, yeah, and so a lot of us come in with confrontation.
But you have to frame it up. You have to figure out how to frame up your confrontation instead of just coming in hot, right? I mean, you have to figure out how to frame it up.
And I love the fact that you say pause. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the tools of Alcoholics Anonymous because there's a page 87 in the big book says, we pause when agitated or doubtful, ask for the right thought or direction.
Well,
Thy will be done, not mine.
Right. Well, it says that in the Bible too.
It does. You know, and so it's
So,
like,
you know, it's, go ahead.
and so the deal is most of us come in with the passive aggressive from our family system or just the plain old aggressive, you know, people turning it around. But I love that saying, want to get back to it, you know, speak the truth in love. Right. You know, if I really am loving that person, you know, I share that. The reason I thought of this is because like in our industry, I have, man, a lot of good friends. I love when they're speaking truth to me in my industry. I love guys speaking truth to me, you know, in general. I want to pose something to you, Shannon, is I am a, you know, probably to a fault, a truth speaker, so to speak. And I think sometimes people might even come across thinking, wow, he's aggressive. When it's really, I'm trying to help others see truth in their life.
Yeah, yes. But I think it kind of all boils down to how you frame it up. I mean,
yeah, when I'm framing it up in that healthy way of care, concern, and curiosity, people really appreciate it.
Right. Like when I am in a, let's say, a volunteer position, okay? And so, and I've used this example before when I have people say, are you going to do X, Y, and Z? And I'll say no as a boundary, you know, and say, I can't do that. I'm busy. And then people say, well, I'm busy too. You know, I prefer to, like, if I'm in a leadership position where I have people under me, I mean, that sounds kind of under me. But, you know, I mean, if I'm delegating
when you're in leadership,
yeah. Then I tend to, what I do now after years of doing it is if I notice that someone is not pulling their weight or doing their part, I go to the care and concern because it's legitimate. I mean, we are all just volunteers if we can all just remember that. You know, we sometimes get in over our heads, but I will say to that person, I will release them. You know, if you can't do this right now, then don't worry about it. Can I help you find somebody else to do it? Or do you want to do it? Or you know, but that's out of care and concern instead of you signed up to do this and you're not doing your job.
Yeah.
Here's that's not healthy because then the person's on the defensive. You know, maybe they've just gotten a diagnosis or maybe they're gotten a job, went back to work or whatever. I mean,
well, I love this. You'll like this. I didn't even tell you this. When I was out in Midland and, you know, working, you know, helping Springboard Center, it's a great treatment center out there in Midland, Texas. Yeah. When I was helping them, they hired this nonprofit volunteer organization, and this lady named Lori, she was talking to the board members, and Chad and I were present, and I love what she said about the board at Springboard. She's saying y'all need some board development. She goes, if you have 11 board members and everybody's agreeing on everything, you got 10 too many.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
that a healthy board is going to have disagreements. You know, a healthy organization is going to have disagreements.
But respect.
Yes, but respect. But
the
that's
opinion.
But that's where you're talking about is you've been on a lot of boards that are volunteer. Right. You know, this board at Springboard is a volunteer position, and if everybody's agreeing and there isn't, you know, disagreements, then you got too many board members. You know, and that's a common thing. If everybody in the organization is always agreeing, then you got too many people in the organization.
Right.
You know, in families, it's not about always agreeing. but it is about respect.
Exactly.
And so when we have these organizations that whatever organization there is, if it's a family, if it's a treatment center, if it's a business, and there isn't that healthy disagreement, then
Right.
it's probably not a healthy organization.
Right.
At CASA, we have that healthy disagreements.
Yes.
And that is a good thing.
But it kind of boils back down to personal responsibility. Everybody kind of has to clean up their side of the street,
Yes, and
And,
so, but if we get back, I agree with that. But if we get back to, okay, what is healthy confrontation? Is like sometimes people need to be, it needs to be pointed out. We tend to avoid, really speaking the truth in love or healthy confrontation with others because we don't want to hurt their feelings,
well, right.
because we bring in our own stuff.
And I also think that if you are not going to come from a place of care and concern and curiosity,
It's better to keep your mouth shut.
yeah, exactly.
I agree with you.
Exactly. If you can't, if you're going to go to confront that okay, let's say, okay, I could throw you under all kinds of buses, but,
I'm all
let's
right
say
with
you
that.
have a neighbor that consistently parks right behind your driveway.
Yes.
Okay. So an unhealthy way to confront that would be to go over and yell at the person and shame them and tell them never to park there again, that it's the stupidest place to park ever. That would be an unhealthy way to confront that situation. A healthy way to confront it would be to go over and say, listen, I'm not the best of drivers and I'm a little distracted and
my
I'm going to
wife
take
is
off.
a horrible driver.
Right. And one of us is going to take off the entire side of your car if you keep parking there.
Or our
I mean,
kids.
you just might want to think about moving a little bit forward or a little bit back because we are going to eventually take off the side of your car. I think that's a more healthy way to confront.
Well,
that
that's
sort of
healthy
situation.
confrontation.
Because we're
The
caring and
other-
concern for her car.
Shannon, we're speaking the same language. I agree with you. I do not confront in a healthy way many times.
I
What
didn't
the-
say that you did that.
Yes, but yes, what we do is we need to learn those tools and curiosity.
I know, that's what
Curiosity is the biggest thing. If y'all can take anything away from this podcast, is how do you get curious with the loved ones in your life? How do you get curious with people that work with you? Is asking open-ended questions.
Are you feeling okay? Is everything okay in
Yeah.
your world? Do you need any help with anything?
Those are great questions. Other questions are, if someone, help me understand. That's another good open-ended question. The why question is not a very open-ended question. It becomes one way.
Right. Why did you do this? Why are
Yeah.
you doing this?
Why are you parking
acting
right
this
behind
way?
my
Right.
driveway?
Why?
Yeah, it becomes
That's
that
defensive,
one-way
yes.
street.
And you like to ask how come, and I hate that too. I think that's unhealthy confrontation.
I disagree with you.
I
And
know
so
you.
that's good.
We can disagree.
Yes, we can agree to disagree.
How come?
How come you don't like my how come?
I hate it so much. It's
What
because,
is it?
I don't know.
What is it that drives you nuts? See,
It's
that's
because
another
a-
curious
it's be-
question. This
it's
is
because
what I'm
a lot
asking.
of time a person may not know the answer to that question, but you seem to think that there is definitely an answer to that question and that you want it now. Like if I'm tired, I'm really tired. How come? Well, I don't know. It makes me tired to think about how to explain this to you, why I'm tired. Or I'm a little anxious about our vacation. How come? Well, I don't know. I need to think about it, or I don't want to go to.
Okay, so
I gotta totally agree with Shannon on this. I
Okay.
hate when people do that too.
How come?
I'm like, I think I'm having, I'm super anxious today. How come? I'm like, I don't know why I have anxiety.
Right, if I
Or like
knew-
depression or something. Yeah,
Yes,
it's like, I
right.
can't explain it.
If I knew, I'd probably.
okay, I you know what? I will agree with y'all to a degree.
Okay.
Okay. I think there are times that how come puts the person in more anxiety or more, areas of distress.
Yeah,
Okay.
it might be a therapeutic tool, but it's not.
it can be a good tool in other areas as well. But y'all gave some good examples about anxiety and stuff like that, or being tired. But the other thing is, so limit your how comes. I will defer. I will concede to that. But
If you do, yeah, does it bother you if you do have an answer, like if you can, or is it just when you don't? When you don't have like a
kinda
clear-cut
bothers-
explanation,
It,
it always bothers you.
especially bothers me if I don't have a clear-cut explanation, but it kind of bothers me in general because it's like he gets this look on his face and this like he jumps into like therapy mode. Like when I say how come, he's gonna tell me, like if I say,
I'll find a solution.
yeah, he's gonna try to fix it. or
Now
something.
that's not good. If I'm asking a curious question, you're correct. If I'm going for the solution, I'm getting in there and fixing. That would be codependent on my end.
And I feel like,
And I do that often.
yeah.
Okay, I'm taking ownership there. But at the same time, it's like trying to understand where the person's coming from. Really, it opens up an avenue to connect with them in a different way.
Yeah.
It opens up an avenue also of maybe most of us have blind spots in our life. And it gives us an opportunity to go, okay, here's, not most of us, everybody has blind spots. And so we need sometimes to be exposed to those blind spots. You're correct. If you're tired and I come home and ask you how come you're tired, I'm just trying to solve the problem.
Right,
So part of that care concern is I need to come out of care of genuinely wanting to connect with you. And I don't even need to confront at that moment. That's not a confrontation moment. Hey, I'm tired or I'm anxious.
Right, no,
wow,
it's not.
that is inappropriate confrontation. It's
Right.
not healthy.
Right.
Okay.
Agreed.
But what
I can
we're
see both sides of this. now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the deal: is like, when you have kids and they're making poor choices, help me understand your thinking, your logic behind this. How come you thought this was a good idea?
Right.
Those kind of questions, and you can do
Oh.
that with little kids.
Yeah.
When our boys were moving the trampoline over to the shed and jumping off the shed, help me understand how come
Yeah,
you thought
no,
this was
see,
a good
but-
idea.
No. My confrontation is just
Stop.
move the trampoline.
Yes.
Don't get on the roof.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And sometimes those are healthy things too, as well. I mean, those are good, healthy things as well. But at the same time, you can have that opportunity to, connect. What is going on with you?
I think you need another example.
Of, how come?
No. Let's get off of that.
Okay.
Healthy confrontation. Can you think of a good example?
Well, yeah, I could. There's.
Like, I mean, can I use the example of your brother healthfully confronting us?
Oh yeah, I think that's a great example.
It's a great example. Okay, so we, my mother-in-law has a lake house, and we all sign up for weekends and we share it. And so, to make a long story short, we used it a couple weekends ago, and Travis was the only one that used the boat because he had all his friends, and they were all, they had a break, and they were all rocking out and enjoying the boat. And so when we were leaving, there's a checklist when you leave, and you have to follow the checklist and make sure that everything's put away and done appropriately. And obviously cleaning out the boat is one of them. And so I looked at Travis and I said, "Did you clean out the boat?"
I did as well.
"Yeah. Did you clean it out well?" And he said, yeah, I did it. I covered it and I cleaned it out. Well, then our brother, Chico's brother, used it with his family the next weekend, and the boat was dirty. And so he had to clean it out before they used it so that they could enjoy it. And then he had to clean it out after they used it with their own mess. And so I thought, out of care and concern, sent us a text just saying, please, he framed it up well. He said, please don't, this is not personal.
No, not at all.
Don't take offense to this. Here's how the boat was. And he didn't know that Travis was the only one that used it. But so he said, this is how, and I just, for the sake of transparency, I just wanted to point it out. But so he wasn't defensive. He wasn't confrontational in a,
He just shared.
blaming
Yeah, he
way.
goes, "Hey, I love this place. Let's all use it, and let's
Right.
not hold each other." Wanted to point this out. We took ownership.
right.
We said we completely understand. We addressed our son,
Yeah.
and Travis took
In a healthy,
ownership.
and I think we addressed Travis in a healthy way, like,
Read this
use
text.
well, and we had him read the text, but then we also, got curious with him by saying, you know, you've asked your grandmother if you can use this place by yourself because you're 20 years old now, and she has said no, but there's no way she's going to let you use it with this kind of treatment. So, you know, what are you thinking? What were you, you know?
And we also took
What are you gonna
ownership that
do?
we didn't go check
Right.
his workout.
Exactly.
You know, so
But-
there's there's
But those
accountability
situations
on our
could
end.
usually cause major defensiveness and passive aggression and all that kind of stuff. And so I just think it's nice to frame it up with start out with a care and concern, a statement of care and concern. Like, I don't want you to take this personally.
Well, and here's the deal. I like that you brought that up. That's the reason I wanted to talk about this. You know, so some guys in my industry. I mean, I love them, and sometimes, you know, our industry is tough. I mean, there's, I'll say it. There's a lot of shady providers out there, and there's a lot of great ones. You know, and a lot of the shady ones are doing some unethical stuff. And you know, one of them's traded on the New York Stock Exchange and has made a bunch of, you know, unethical decisions and stuff like that in our industry. And our trade organization, NATAP, has actually asked them not to be members and stuff like that. And I saw that, you know, I had concerns about, you know, a NATAP board member, and some other people had shared that with me as well. And this guy's a good friend, and I care about him. And I went and addressed those concerns about some unhealthy practices that I had examples of. I shared it in a healthy way because I truly do care about him. In a way, I can see where he's coming from, but I was more concerned that
it wasn't the individual making the unethical decisions. It was somebody on the board you wanted to point out.
I wanted to point out
Other-
a board member whose treatment program was making
Yes. Okay.
some
Yeah.
unethical
Okay. Got
marketing practices.
it. Okay. Got it.
And told him my, you know, concerns. Now there was two other board members that hadn't brought it up. You know, they had
Right.
shared it with me. I go, well, you know, screw that. I'm going to share it with them. You know,
Yeah.
another person shared it. And so the deal is, and I love these people that didn't share it.
Right. That's
but
what you're saying. I know that's
I
what it is.
really do. I love them, and I think they're great people. But I just go, man, all of us, our society avoids those tough conversations because sometimes confrontation, even in the healthiest light, with care, concern, and curiosity, can create anxiety.
Well, yes,
in
and
anyone.
awkwardness and everything. Yeah, it totally does.
And you tend to do what, you know, we've heard parents, you know, stick their heads in the sands. We do as well. All of us are capable and culpable of sticking our head in the sand instead of pointing out the truth.
Yes.
You know, so my reason for coming in today and really bringing this up is because of those things. What are some of the questions you're seeing?
No, I'm just saying, people saying hi. I have to put on my glasses.
Okay, put on your glasses.
We struggle with this live.
I see John
putting up-
Shelton on here, but I can't see any of the other highs on my iPad. Who said hi?
You can't. David.
David Van Dien.
Even, yeah,
Yes.
and David Dauber.
All right.
Both, yeah, so-
Yes. Hello, David and David.
Anyway, but I hope.
And Carla made a comment as well.
What
Oh,
did
yeah,
Carla's
what's
comment
Carla's?
say?
She said without sarcasm, very hard. I think she was referring to
Confrontation.
Yes. Well,
What do you know the
Carla and I are both very sarcastic
Yes,
by nature. I'm
and-
very sarcastic by nature, but
Oh, you are by
Well,
far.
and
the Greek root word
and
of
that-
sarcasm is
the ripping of flesh.
yes. You
I mean,
rip my flesh
oh my God.
often.
He's so sensitive, of course. Your flesh rips because
Well,
you're
we
so
said that
sensitive.
at the beginning of the episode. I was so sensitive I could hear that. I could feel the aftershocks more so.
Yeah,
Than
oh my gosh. I know. But no, but it because of my personality and sarcastic ways, that's why I do have to frame up conversations, and then when I frame them up out of care and concern and curiosity, then I don't feel that anxiety when confronting. Over the years, I have, you have to work up to certain conversations, and then you just have to put on your big girl pants and just have them.
That's what I love. That lady, Lori in Midland, said some people just need to put their big girl panties on.
You do.
You know,
and you
I
just
love.
have to have those conversations, but they need to be out of care and concern,
Can I share a story?
and maybe confidentiality too.
Can I share a story
you
with
don't need to
you?
be gossiping. Yeah. Okay.
How I loved when you, in a way, you confronted your friends about a friend's birthday, and you said, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yes.
I thought that was awesome. You know, a lot of your
Well,
girlfriends.
that was mainly self care. That wasn't really confrontation. That
But
was
self care is confrontation.
okay.
You know, is what I'm saying is what you did is we had a friend that was, you know, she was throwing a party for her husband.
Yeah, I mean, let's just not get into the weeds with the details.
Okay. But you know, they were all trying to take care of this friend's. You know.
Okay, just we don't need to get into the
And you
weeds.
said
I said
no.
no because I couldn't.
I know, but that was awesome. That was healthy confrontation. You know, those were the things that all of a sudden you were taking care of self, and you didn't get sucked in to doing something that you didn't want to do.
Yes, that's true. But I still. Let's move on because I don't think that was confrontation. But anyway, so it wasn't really confrontation. It was me setting a boundary. It was me saying no.
What boundaries are confrontation?
Okay.
They're not
I'm getting
threats.
exhausted now.
Well, how come you're getting exhausted?
Because you're like, boundaries are confrontation. Self-care is
Yeah, like
confrontation.
everything's
everything's
confrontation.
confrontation. And I don't
In
live that
a
way.
healthy way.
That
it
gives
is.
me anxiety to think that everything's confrontation. I don't want everything to be confrontation. I just want everything to be chill for a second.
Yeah.
Um,
But I guess the takeaway is, man, it takes practice. It's
does.
hard. It's hard if well, here's another thing is when I say self-care, knowing yourself, you know, am I coming about this, you know, that I'm concerned about this other person?
Yes.
Or am I also concerned about, hey, what's best for me?
do I care about the situation?
Yes. That then I'm gonna come about it with a new pair of glasses, so
Yeah.
to speak. And I'm going to be concerned of the other, and I'm going to be concerned for myself, not in a self-centered way,
Right.
but really in hey, I want to share these things.
But if you aren't coming from that point of view, you just shouldn't
It's
say anything.
unhealthy, and it's it's not
Disingenuous.
disingenuous. It's disruptive. It can come across real discouraging.
It's not productive.
It can come across very judgmental.
Well, yes.
I mean, a lot of different things where what we normally think of when we're talking about confrontation.
And sometimes it takes a long time to decide to, like, confrontation doesn't always, sometimes I feel like you have an immediate need for confrontation.
It might be due to my attention deficit disorder.
Yes, and impulsive nature. So you have this immediate need for confrontation when I think sometimes it needs to simmer and you need to really think about those questions. So I think the takeaway is I think the 3 C's is great. Care, concern, and curiosity.
And if it's rooted in those are good things.
Yes,
So
but you have to think about it. You have to pause.
Pause is key. You know, pause looking at if you're agitated or doubtful.
And pausing is hard. I won't go on this rabbit trail because we're about to wrap up. But, you know, pausing is also so important in today's, like, social media.
Oh, my goodness.
Because when people want to just comment to get their comment out there before they think about it, that causes a lot of conflict.
Oh, and judgment.
And yes.
You know, disgust.
And a lot of misunderstanding
Yes,
and assumptions.
big time.
All those dangerous things. So we need to learn how to think about the 3 C's and then pause and then sit on it for half a second.
We do need to do those things. You know, I still think, man, we got so much we could discuss. We could turn this into a 2-episode deal.
I don't know.
You know, do you want to pause and come back and do a?
Yeah, maybe so, but I want to give a shout out to our new t-shirt designers. It's a local girl that went to Woodrow, and she has a little shop down in the farmer's market. It's called Whiskey Designs, ironically enough. It's WHISKI designs.com. And her name is India, and she'll design anything for you. And she has a great little store with cute stuff. And I just wanted to give a shout out to her.
And the
'cause she did
reason
these
why
for us.
your green
Oh,
comes
my-
out more, but you're in a green
Because
screen.
it's on the green screen. I forgot. Oh, it's this
Yes,
side.
yes.
Okay. Anyway, yeah. That's great.
Thank you all
Thanks
so
for
much.
joining. Does Kevin want to?